a room of unfulfilled words that no one heard. You return to the corridor. It no longer seems as endless as before, and not because it's become shorter. You've simply begun to understand its laws. Every step here isn't distance. It's recognition, a movement inward, not forward. The silence still walks alongside. It doesn't disappear after the first victory. It only restructures itself. It becomes different, less hostile, but more attentive, as if watching. Are you ready to move on? But you go. Today, your intention is clearer. You search for the next door, and the corridor responds. The walls change hue slightly. The gray becomes colder, the air denser, and the light dimmer, as if it never belonged here. You sense something new ahead. Not scarier, not easier, just different. The corridor whispers, not with words, with a rustle of thoughts that were never formed, with a gentle inner push. When a memory tries to rise from the depths, but you still push it down. You know, the next door will find you before you find it. And so it happens. It appears gradually, not at the end of the path, but within it, as if the walls themselves have given way. There's a door in front of you, wooden like the last one, but this time without a handle. That's precisely what's alarming. A door without a handle means you can only enter. If it itself wants to let you in, you come closer. It would seem smooth. Too smooth. Not a scratch, not a flaw, not a crack. As if it were carved from silence, and not from wood. And suddenly, you hear a sound. Not loud, not sharp, more like a faint tremor, like a whisper. But it's not the door whispering. It's what's behind it. You realize there are words inside, those you never said, those you deliberately held back, those you were afraid to say, those you thought no one would hear or want to, those that once mattered most. You touch the door with your fingertips, and it retreats, quietly, softly, as if it's been waiting for you your whole life. You enter the room of unfulfilled words. It's not like the first one. If the room of silence was empty, this one is filled with something impossible to see right away. At first, it seems empty here too. Just gray walls, muffled air, no objects. But that's only because your eyes have become accustomed to a world where words are only visible when heard by another person. Here, everything is different. You feel as if the air vibrates with a multitude of unspoken thoughts. They don't sound, but they live. You take a step, and the room responds, at first with a light echo, coming not from the walls, but from you yourself. You recognize this echo. It's all too familiar. It's the sound of words you once wanted to say and couldn't, and they haven't disappeared. They remain inside, stuck between I want and I can't, between I have to say and there's no point. The shadows of words begin to appear, not clear phrases, not sentences, but shadows, silhouettes of sounds that have never been heard. Some are small, almost imperceptible. Others are enormous, as if growing out of the floor. You come closer, and one of them begins to emerge. First, the sound, then the form, and finally the meaning. You understand it immediately. Stay. You know whose word it is. You know when you wanted to say it, and to whom. You remember that moment. Slightly trembling fingers. Excitement. the desire to hold on to the person who was leaving. The word was inside, ready to break, ready to save, but it didn't come out. You didn't say anything then, and the man left. The word, frozen in your throat, found itself trapped here, in this room, in this labyrinth of consciousness. You feel it trembling, as if still waiting for you to speak it, but you don't. You just watch, and the word fades, not disappears, but returns to the shadows. You walk on, and with every step, the room grows louder. Unspoken words begin to gather around you. Hundreds, thousands, some are sharp as knives. I feel sick. You're hurting me. I am tired. Others are soft like please. Help. Turn around. Stay close. There are words that make it hard to breathe. I can't cope. There are words you want to turn away from. I haven't forgiven. And there are those you were afraid to even admit to yourself. I miss you. I was lonely. I need to be loved. The room breathes them. They don't blame. They don't ask. They simply exist. And that's what makes them so heavy. You understand. These words aren't weakness. They're a part of you. Chunks stuck. Unspoken, but alive. You walk further into the room, and suddenly you notice a figure. Not a person, more like an outline. A translucent silhouette, made up of sounds that have never been heard. You approach, and it changes. First it's a child, then a teenager, then you yourself, only younger. Then a child again. You understand. This figure is you, in all your versions, who wanted to speak, but fell silent. The silhouette opens its mouth, and you hear a voice that was always somewhere inside, but you stifled it. The voice is quiet, unusually sincere. Why didn't you listen to me? Your chest tightens. You are silent for a long time, too long, and only after a minute, or an eternity, you answer, because I thought no one would hear anyway. The silhouette trembles, and the room echoes, but it doesn't accuse. It simply accepts. You hear something else, but you could have heard me yourself. You lower your eyes. You know it's true. Silence wasn't protection, but punishment. Unacknowledged words have become a burden that you've carried for years. You understand. This room is not a place of pain. This is a place of honesty. There's no need to shout loudly here. One breath, one inner confession is enough. The silhouette looks at you. The inner you, the one who knew how to feel, but was afraid to speak. You want to leave. You feel in your body. Your legs want to turn. Your arms want to find the door. Your chest want to hide in silence. But the silhouette speaks again. If you leave now, I'll stay here forever. You raise your head. The words are not a demand, not an accusation. They are a fact, and you understand. Some parts of you were protecting this labyrinth from destruction because they thought it was easier, but easier doesn't mean easier. You take a step toward the silhouette, and you ask the question that should have been asked years ago. What did you want to say? The silhouette looks up at you. Its features become clearer, and the air becomes quieter. And you hear, I was afraid. When you were silent, these words hit you, like cold water, like the truth you've always known, but refuse to accept. You feel heavy, but you stand. And then the silhouette adds, and I was lonely. You feel. These words pass through your chest, echo in your throat, and stay inside. But this time, they don't get stuck. They move. You nod slowly, and for the first time, you speak not into the void, not to people, not to the world, but to yourself. I was lonely too. The room freezes. The silhouette slowly fades, not disappearing, but turning into a soft, light sensation, and then the space of the room changes. The shadows of the words recede. Some rise higher, as if becoming lighter. Others dissolve into thin air. You realize you haven't gotten rid of them, and you shouldn't have. You simply acknowledge them, and that means they can no longer possess you. You walk to the door. It now has a handle. You touch it and hear a final quiet. Thank you for coming back. You walk out. The corridor greets you with a familiar silence. But now it's no longer oppressive. It's like air after a long rain. You've done what you had to do, but ahead lie new doors, other rooms, other shadows. The labyrinth of consciousness is not a place you can traverse in one go. It's a place that must be reclaimed step by step, and you take a step forward,